I started playing the horn when I was in high school. I was a pianist. I was very determinedly a pianist. And I got to high school, I was at a girls' school, and the music teacher handed me a horn, said, "We need somebody to play this in the orchestra." So I thought, oh, okay. That was how I started playing the horn. I lost my horn, I know I was playing it yesterday. Well, I guess you have to have some way of holding it up. Traditionally, the horn was an instrument that was played out of doors on horseback, so it's a fairly rustic roots, I guess you might say. Originally, they needed to use the hand and hand positions inside the bell to change the pitch of the sound because they didn't have the valves. And it's just kind of stayed there, really. The horn was brought into the orchestra in the era of Haydn and Mozart. It had been an outdoor instrument, an instrument for the forest, an instrument for the hunt. So originally, when composers were bringing the horns into the orchestra historically, quite often they signified a sort of an outdoors element to the music. It was immediately recognisable to the listener in that way. During Mozart and Beethoven and Brahms' sort of time, it became more integrated. It's somewhat of a crossover between the woodwind section of the orchestra and the brass section. It's obviously a brass instrument, but a little bit more integrated as well with the woodwind, in as far as being, you know, quite sort of melodic and lyrical. So in rehearsal, quite often the conductor will they might ask you to play something a little bit differently. It might be a little faster or slower, or you might want to mark in somewhere where there's a change. Of course, you need to write something on your music, but if you leave your pencil on the music stand, then quite often you forget it at the end of rehearsal. So it's actually very handy to have a little clip on the back of the horn that the pencil can fit in. I think it's a really amazing thing to play with people that you get along really well with, that you care about, that you like, that you have common goals, that you're working together to try and create something. There's nobody in the orchestra who does something by themselves, really. It's all about working with other people. If you get along with the people around you, then, you know, it's got to be a better outcome.